Most gambling addicts didn't start out betting thousands of dollars on a game. It could have been a casual bet with a friend, a small spin on a slot machine, or even a table minimum game of blackjack. However, as time goes on, the amounts and the intensity of our bets inevitably rises, and it gets to the point where we don't even recognize the value of our money anymore. My name's Rob, and I'm a recovering compulsive gambler. I made my last bet on November the 12th of 2022, and since then I made it my personal mission to talk about what's working for me in my gambling addiction recovery journey online in hopes that it'll help you to get into recovery faster than I did. Today, we have an important topic to discuss: the progression of a gambling addiction in the brain. Gambling's a hobby for some, but it can become a dangerous addiction for millions of people out there. Today, we'll dive into the chemical aspects of gambling addiction, how it escalates with time as your tolerance builds, and most importantly, how to overcome it and start living a happier life in recovery. So, let's get started. To understand why gambling can become addictive, we need to look at its effect on the brain. When we gamble, our brain releases dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. This feel-good chemical reinforces this desire to repeat the behavior over and over again that triggered its release, which leads to a cycle of seeking more gambling experiences. Studies have shown that in people with gambling addictions, the brain's reward system is hijacked. The more they gamble, the more dopamine is released, creating a powerful association between gambling and pleasure. Now, this chemical reward loop can make it really challenging to quit, as the brain constantly craves that pleasurable sensation that's associated with gambling, and it's so accustomed to getting it from that source that other sources of dopamine and pleasure, they become less desirable and less intense. As with many addictions, gambling leads to the building of tolerance over time. This means that as people continue to gamble, they require higher amounts of riskier bets to achieve the same level of satisfaction and pleasure that they initially got from a lesser bet. Tolerance occurs when the brain adapts to the constant dopamine surges, and as a result, the individual needs to increase either their gambling volume or their gambling amounts to maintain the same high that they were getting originally. It's a really dangerous cycle because as the stakes get higher, so do the potential consequences, including financial ruin and strained relationships. Gambling is referred to as a progressive illness, and it's because as time goes on, your bets eventually reach a point where a loss could wipe out months worth of previous winnings. That's why a gambling addict is always guaranteed to eventually give their winnings back to the house. Steve Wynn, owner of the Encore and other casinos, once famously said that he never saw someone win big and walk away. They always end up giving it back, chasing after a bigger hit than they got from that original win. Now that we understand the chemical basis and escalation of a gambling addiction, let's talk about recovery. Recognizing that you have a gambling problem is the first crucial step. Seeking help and support is essential, and there are various resources available, such as support groups, therapy, and helplines to aid people in overcoming gambling addiction. My number one recommendation for people is always to try a support group meeting. I go to a 12-step recovery meeting every Tuesday night, and the accountability and knowledge that I've gained from doing that has led directly to my continued recovery. I tried so many times to quit on my own and beat this addiction by myself, when all I really needed was some guidance and encouragement from a group of people who had gone through this process before. The meeting provides exactly that. Now, additionally, it's important to address any underlying psychological or emotional issues that may have contributed to the addiction. Getting addicted to gambling is often a reflection of some type of underlying issue or lacking in your life. Without the bet covering up your emotions, you'll really get the chance to reflect and make more informed decisions as you learn more about yourself. Developing healthy coping mechanisms to replace gambling is absolutely vital. Engaging in other activities that provide a sense of accomplishment and purpose, as well as joy, can help to redirect the brain's focus away from gambling and towards something more meaningful in your life. Again, you weren't put on this planet just to spin a wheel or turn cards. Those coping mechanisms involve finding something to put your passion into. If you're just going to fill your days with work and boring things that you don't really enjoy, you're eventually going to feel this strong desire to get some excitement back in your life by going back to gambling. Now, the way that I've fixed this situation is to find something I was passionate about, and it happens to be making these videos and running my social media accounts. For you, it might be something different, but what I had to do was think back to the times that I felt the best in my life. And when I felt the best was when I was helping someone else with something that I had learned about myself. And it's because I got some people to go back to meetings that really didn't want to be there, that they started to get the help that they need. And I realized, hey, I don't have to be the one to cure someone. I don't have to be the one to be a doctor or a counselor, but I can be someone to give you the piece of advice to get back in there and help yourself. I like creating these videos because I want to help people to figure out what they need to be doing to live a happier and healthier life. I can't fix your life for you, but I can tell you it's working for me, and you can try it for yourself. You have to take action. Fill this gap of time that you previously spent gambling with something that made you feel good before you started gambling. And again, for me, it was helping others. For you, it might be pursuing a passion project. It might be working on a business. I don't know what it is. You have to figure it out for yourself, but I'm so excited for you to do so and to let me know down below in the comments what you end up doing to fill that void that gambling had previously left. So ultimately, the most effective way to fix a gambling addiction is by staying away from gambling entirely. Easier said than done, of course, but abstinence allows the brain's reward system to reset over time. Studies have shown that the brain's neuroplasticity allows it to recover from addiction, and the dopamine receptors can return to their normal functioning baseline levels with abstinence. This process begins to unfold between 21 and 90 days into sobriety, and that's why you'll see all the support groups out there in the 12-step program celebrating 90 days of sobriety and recovery. It's because you're giving yourself a real fighting chance to get back to the way of life that you had before the chaos of gambling got a hold of you and hijacked your brain's reward system. Breaking free from gambling addiction is not easy, but with determination and support, it's completely possible to regain control of your life. I hope this information helps to raise awareness about the serious nature of gambling addiction and empowers those who are struggling to seek help and make positive changes in their lives. Remember, reaching out for support is a sign of strength, and it's showing that you want to get better, not a sign of weakness. If you or someone you know is dealing with a gambling addiction, don't hesitate to seek help. I care about you and try to share the resources that are working for me here on my channel. If you want to leave the chaos of gambling behind, make sure that you smash that subscribe button and stay up to date on the content that I post here, because all the videos that I make are aimed to try to help you to live a better life. If you have any other topics that you'd like me to cover in my videos, please let me know down in the comments below, as I'd love to hear from you and make the videos that you guys want to see. Gambling addiction is progressive, but so is the recovery process. Be patient with yourself and take things one day at a time.